Okay, so next up is the part where where Katie, LisaRaye, and Kai, grandmother LisaRaye and her daughter are together again, and this is I call this the truth-telling breakthrough part. Now, because Iyanla really just I pick up that Iyanla is picking up that all of these women have no skills to communicate with each other and articulate the truth and the dynamic of what happened as a result of this generational pathology and how they repeated it in each of their lives. So she figures out that they don't have the skills to articulate, to communicate the truth as well as the dynamic. So Iyanla makes the statements of truths for them. So she states the statements and she says, confirm it or deny it with a yes or a no. And I really liked this because I think the tension was so tight. I don't know if you all saw LisaRaye. She was like the whole time until right towards the end of the episode where she broke down. But the whole time she was like, you know? So, but before she starts this truth-telling breakthrough part of the healing process, she asks, it's the next day, so she asks each and every one of them, what awarenesses have you had overnight? And Katie, LisaRaye's mother, says she realizes that all this stems from her, the head, and that she doesn't really know herself. I thought that was a breakthrough. And then Iyanla tells the truth, commences to tell the truth about LisaRaye's dad. And I believe this was a wake-up call to Lisa to get LisaRaye out of a romanticization of who her dad was. All right, so Iyanla begins to tell the truth about LisaRaye's dad and really gets Lisa out of this romanticism and this, pink lens view of her dad, and begins to break him down really as a man who was manipulative and controlling. Manipulative in that he triangulated LisaRaye with her mom to be in competition, unhealthy competition with her mom, and then controlling with his money, dishonest because he was in relationships with other women while he was with LisaRaye's mom, as well as this inauthentic in his love. And he was using Katie to keep himself looking good to Lisa. Triangulation. Seems to me like this man was a narcissist, and he manipulated everyone to not have a vision about their lives and internal knowing of themselves as women, young girl and the mother, and therefore have command of their own throne as these women, so that he could always control them and that they would always rely on him and look to him to have their own vision and have dreams for their lives. So Iyanla just dispels this romanticism about the love of this man that LisaRaye has. He was a master triangulator and manipulator. And when someone is triangulating you, they literally unseat you from the throne, your throne of your life, to keep you confused and to serve their vision and their dream, as well as to serve their shenanigans. Katie did this thing where, she would take LisaRaye to confront her husband's girlfriend. And, Iyanla makes her aware that that's emotional manipulation because it was about, take my side, look at what this man is doing, but it was inappropriate. That was you and your man. That was her dad. Two different people, two different roles. Coming out of one man, but two different roles. That was inappropriate. And LisaRaye believed her father wouldn't have died if she hadn't put him out. And this is a yes from LisaRaye. And at his death, Katie said, I bet you wish it was me instead of your father. And LisaRaye said yes, The mother felt like LisaRaye had no right to go and live with her dad because now she was thrust in the middle of their parents' business, which was inappropriate on both sides. And this, Katie wanted, it seems like Katie wanted LisaRaye to take her side, and was at every opportunity that she could get, would put LisaRaye in a position where she could see that this person that you love so much is not so great, boundary problem. Katie and her husband is her business. And Katie, LisaRaye's mother, had no right to be pulling LisaRaye into the middle of her business with her man, her husband. And in a way, making LisaRaye responsible for what, for her emotions and for what's going on, and responsible to choose between her parents. I think LisaRaye liked both her parents, but because she was always thrust in the midst of her parents, and because she was triangulated by her dad to be in competition with her mom, and her dad was also a wealthy man, then she chose her dad. I think it was a strategic thing that she did. Her love was very strategic, and I don't think she realizes that. Again, Katie's challenge with LisaRaye's father put them in competition with, Iyanla shows Katie and LisaRaye that the challenge with LisaRaye's father is that the father put them in competition with each other, and that LisaRaye was always literally the wife or the other woman. And so obviously there's going to be resentment and competition between the mother and the daughter, triangulation, and played both of them with money. And as a result, both sold themselves out for the money, for the comforts of the money, for the comforts of the life that the money afforded them. And like I said in my shorter version of this review, that it's interesting that LisaRaye repeated this. She got together with a manipulative, controlling, dishonest man who was showing her inauthentic love, that prime minister of that island that she got married with for a brief period of time until he got her into financial trouble and she had to divorce him. She repeated the pattern with her mom. Her mom got together with a triangulator, a liar, a manipulator, a controller, and a person who loved her inauthentically. She repeated the same pattern with this man because, like I said in my shorter video, my summary video, it's as if there was a time in her career where she reached a plateau and there was an uncertainty financially. And so there was this plan that came up with this man, very wealthy, prime minister of an entire island, Turks and Caicos. I don't know. And she married him, but he turned out to be very dishonest, had other women. All these years she's been blaming Dwayne Martin for enabling this man to cheat, but no, you made that choice. And it's your accountability. It's not Dwayne Martin's accountability that, he was there when this man was cheating on LisaRaye with other women. I thought that was interesting that wasn't picked up. And also what actually came up for me that I noticed is that, okay, it's very clear that it's demarcated here that LisaRaye is her mother's only child. That means that when she says that the brat is her sister, it means that it's a child from another woman. They have the same father, but two different women. And that's the story there. And that's why the brat didn't get to come in this story. So that was interesting to learn for me because the mother kept saying, and then I had this child, not these children. Yet LisaRaye always insists, oh no, she's my sister. So I was like, oh, okay. I guess the brat is from either the stepmom or one of the other women that the father was with. And they share a father, but they don't share a mother. The last bit, take the throne of your own life. Live in your own knowing. And to get back into the throne of our hearts is by living by our own knowing. And Iyanla said, I was going to crown you. I was going to, shawl you. But I realized that everything that I've offered for you to get out of the situation that you're in, you've rejected because you're not ready yet. So I'm going to give you tools instead so that you can work your way to being ready to be crowned and get back into the seat of your own thrones in your lives and take control of your own lives outside of this triangulated crazy making that your father created, and also this this pathology that you inherited from your mom. You know, after it's broken, after you've dealt with it. And so at the end, she asked, what do you know, each of them? What do you know that now that you didn't know when you got here? Kai says she doesn't think or feel with the heart. She doesn't have access to her heart. And then LisaRaye says she takes responsibility for spoiling her child. She says, I realize that she's spoiled. None of them say, you know, I realize that, especially LisaRaye, I realize that this man that I love a figment of my imagination. I love a romanticized vision of who I thought my dad was, but he's not that man, and I'm having to deal with that. It's interesting to me that, you know, none of them noticed that Kai was in arrested development, and the same thing had been done to LisaRaye because she was controlled by money by her father, and that the very same thing had happened. You know, I think the mom had there was some resistances, conflict within herself, but I think you know, she was just realizing some things like, damn, this man triangulated me against my daughter, and this entire time I've been fighting my daughter and competing with my daughter. And it was this crazy making triangulation that this man, abusive man that I stayed with, thinking that I'm making the right decision. It's something that he did to just create craziness in my life. And now he's gone, and here we are having to. So, yeah, and this is how this episode ends, really, with LisaRaye saying, hey, I'd like a 6-month update. You know, asking Iyanla if she would be willing to work with them after 6 months. And Iyanla's like, absolutely, you know. But at this point, I'm not able to crown you because you have everything that I've offered you, you've resisted. So there's some working through that you need to do, sitting with the truths that you're faced with and healing from them and being willing to, you know, heal from these things. And then let's see what progress you've made within 6 months. And it's interesting that she gives them, you know, a little basket to take away with them. And it has one of the gifts in the basket is Peace from Broken Pieces. It's interesting that this past week I was just listening to Peace from Broken Pieces, but like a talk that she had been doing with Peace from Broken Pieces. So I thought that was interesting that I was listening to that Iyanla was doing maybe 3-4 years ago, and I was just interested to hear it again. And it comes up that, you know, these 3 women, these 3 generations of women are being given this very same book. Anyway, that is about it for this week. I will see you again next time. I will say that this particular episode 5, season 7, episode 5 of Iyanla Fix My Life, the final season, was absolutely so helpful for me to just really articulate and tell some truths about some pieces of my own life, and really see those pieces for what they are and accept them for what they are, and heal and prepare for a future that is unbroken and that is not filled with these wounds, me bleeding all over the place, bleeding all over children, bleeding at the workplace, bleeding all over friends, bleeding all over my husband or wherever else, what other space I occupy myself. And I think it's had me thinking a lot as well about, you know, occupying fully my throne, and ask myself some challenging questions about what I'm willing to do and what I've been doing, perhaps that I've inherited that I've not been aware of up until now. What am I willing to do to change it, and heal from it and process it out of my memory, out of my being, so that I can just work towards wholeness and move from a whole and healed place. Okay, this one really resonated with me and touched me very deeply. I will see you again next time. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to come back. If you have not yet subscribed, please do down below, and also hit that notifications bell so that you are notified every time that I do upload here on the channel. Please feel free, of course, to comment, like, and share on Facebook, and with everyone else that you think will be interested in these reviews. I appreciate you again. Thanks for stopping by, and I will see you again next time. Bye.